You're watching iRacing on the Ghostfire Media Network.
Alright everyone, welcome to Talladega Super Speedway. We have a great one for you tonight. The AOLL Cup Series has come to visit the big one. I'm Josh Laston, and I have Carl Henderson with me tonight.
Hey everyone, I'm glad to be here. Really excited about racing here. Talladega is without a doubt my favorite track in all of NASCAR. I'm really looking forward to watching these guys run it and see how crazy things are going to get.
And without a doubt, it's going to get a little bit crazy. We have an average April day in the virtual Alabama tonight, but we have a few things that we think are the best to watch. Most importantly is iRacing's new Aero Package. And
yeah, so, sorry, I was going to talk about the Aero Package real quick.
Go right ahead.
Little bit different than what we used to run here at Super Speedways. It's, you're going to have, these runs that kind of stall out as you get to the car in front of you, and there's a bubble of air around cars that you can push, and they will push back on you. And then there's also the introduction of side drafting, so that you can get down next to another car's quarter panel and actually slow them down and speed yourself up so you can pass it a little bit easier.
And it's going to make for some interesting side-by-side racing. But with this new Aero Package, we've noticed from practice and things of that nature, it's a little bit more difficult to keep that car in a straight line when you're following someone, or if someone gets up too close to you. To where it honestly, the second thing to watch for is the outside line. We're going to see a lot of cars having to give a lot more space because they will be a little bit squirrely when they're running in a pack.
Yeah, and finally, the other thing we're watching out for is the big one. At some point, hopefully not multiple times, but it's possible there will be multiple times, we're going to see someone make a mistake, and it's going to take out a lot of cars, possibly even some cars that have a chance at winning. So we'll be watching out for that.
Yes, and as we're waiting for everything to get here, we're a little bit late to show you qualifying, but we should be seeing that session end shortly to where we'll be able to show you the grid. And here we are. In first, we have Marshall Hall. That is a great run from him. He's been closer to the mid-pack most of the season, but right now we actually have him as our pole sitter. And behind him we have Steve Gottschalk, who is always a favorite to win. And in third, we have a newcomer to the Cup Series, Joshua Hanner.
Yep, this is his Cup debut, closed-circuit racing driver. So our teammate, really happy to see him up front.
And this is the first race that we will actually have any closed circuit in the race, to where we actually have two drivers, but unfortunately one of them isn't showing up on the list yet. But in fourth we have Daniel Shirley, fifth Justin Anderson, sixth William Klingbill, seventh Mike Burgess, eighth Adam Wood, ninth Johnny Downey, 10th Joe Dinsmore, 11th Blake Gordon, and he is a self-professed hater of the restrictor tracks. But Again, always a favorite to be running towards the front at some point in the night. And in 12th, we have Ross Gage.
All right. In 13th, we have Rick Kohler. 14th, Kevin Haas. 15th, Larry Patrick. 16th, Brandon Bernhardt. 17th, Ed Springer. 18th, Randy Pepper. 19th, Stephen Dominy. 20th, Brian Tiffany. 21st, Jason Swan. 22nd, Johnny Edward. 23rd, Kevin Pearson. And 24th, Timothy St. Jean.
And this is a massive pack today, to where actually we have Andrew Burgess in 25th, John Gordon 26th, Tony Pandon 27th, Donald Warnke 28th, Dan Witten 29th, and Peter Norquay in 30th. And let's go ahead and get ourselves up here and get ourselves ready to go green. So we will actually go ahead and start off with our pole sitter. Let's get a nice shot of those cars going 2x2 around this monster of a track. And these are going to be, any of the pace laps are going to be painful.
Yeah, hopefully we don't have a lot of cautions, because the pace speed here is painfully slow, and it takes a long time to get around this 2.5 mile track. It's going to be really interesting to see at the start here. It takes a little while for the cars really to get going on the starts. So you kind of have to build up a little momentum, and the drafting doesn't make a huge difference at first. But if you're able to get through your gears, your shifts cleanly and quickly, you have an advantage there. You can possibly have some momentum once the draft does start working. That you can come to those decisions.
Yes, sir. And again, this is a track that it's fast. There is enough room for drivers to go 4 and even 5 wide through the tri-oval if they end up getting forced down below the yellow line. And we should see a lot of great high-speed side-by-side action. Hopefully they can keep it clean, especially at the front, because if somebody goes sideways in the front, the whole field's going with them.
One thing I want to point out real quick before we get started, something to keep an eye on with the side draft here is, if you're side drafting, you have to get close to the car to the inside. And if there's a little bit of wiggle on that car on the inside, you could end up with a big wreck there. So that might be where the big one happens.
And that's my anticipation as well, as we are about to go green flag racing. And the flag is waving, and we are off. Go ahead and find a good angle as Marshall Hall gets out to a very good jump, but Josh Hanner is right behind him and right on his bumper. And that outside line is suffering a little bit right now.
Yeah, that inside line got a good jump. The outside line not so much, but I'm a little surprised when you see the outside line start getting some momentum here, and especially if they're able to start to side draft and really start moving up.
And we've already seen a break in that outside line. If we go back, we're starting to see 2 packs already, as that outside line is starting to drop back, as now it's Marshall Hall, Joshua Hanner, and Justin Anderson in 1, 2, and 3. That outside line is going to need to get formed up and right on a bumper to make that outside line work right now.
Yeah, they've got enough cars up there they can make it work. I mean, you're right, there is a second starting to form as well, a little bit further back. That could just be guys trying to avoid getting in any trouble early on. But yeah, these guys on the outside, they need to get formed up quickly so they can start making a run. They're losing a lot of positions here.
Did we have a group start from the pit lane? Because I'm seeing a few people that are showing on timing and scoring as being a lap down already.
I am not.
Okay, so it's just mine being funky. So that's fine. That's perfectly fine. So we can actually go ahead and see Blake Gordon starting to the back, has made up 5 spots already, and in front of him is actually or behind him is Rick Kohler, who has made up 6, and everyone right behind him has made up significant ground to where Ed Springer in 9th has made up 8 places already.
Yeah, 8 positions there. Larry Patrick's up 7. Brian Tiffany's up 7. Timothy St. Jean running now in 16th is up 8. So some big movers, but that outside line, they stalled out bad. Steve Gottschalk, Daniel Shirley have lost 13 positions on that outside line.
Yeah, that inside line just has not given them the space to be able to move up, and that is unfortunate, but we're only starting lap 4 right now of 70, so they have plenty of time, especially with how pit strategy can play out. They can make up a lot of time, and with this, the larger teams are going to be a distinct advantage to be able to bring in the entire team so no one's left out there in the cold.
Yeah, and one thing I will say here, traditionally, pit stops at super freeways, you really can just go fuel only in many cases. But I'm curious with this new package. I haven't run a ton of laps with the new package in traffic. There is a chance that getting tires could be really valuable here. We saw it actually earlier in the NASCAR race because you get in the draft here with this new package, and cars can get very unstable. And there were a few times when I was running practice over the weekend that I'm getting snapped loose. So fresh tires might be something that guys are going to want at some point.
As we're starting to see this pack that just dropped off of the front line, they're trying to make their way down into that single file line, and we're starting to see a lot of shuffling. We're seeing cars go 3 wide right now, and that could spell disaster for these guys. I think it's best to just kind of bide your time, find the hole, get down, and just run in a line. You're not going to be able to make up those spots too quickly right now.
Well, Josh, it's really easy to say that, but I also want to remind you of the guy, the TNT series, 3-4 weeks ago, it took him 3 wide on the start of the race in the first corner. but it's one of those things, you see an opportunity, and it's like, you got to jump on it, and a lot of times it's also 3 wides the accidental. You go high thinking you're taking it 2 wide, the other person goes low thinking they're taking it 2 wide, next thing you know you're 3 wide.
As we're starting to see that full line, and Tony Pandon is just going out there as we see, as I hopefully can find him. I'm used to looking at him towards the top. It almost looked like Joe Dinsmore was about to try to make a move outside, and we're actually starting to see those Steel Horse Racing guys, Steve Gottschalk, Dan Shirley, and Joe Dinsmore, trying to make that outside line and get a good run, as we're seeing Marshall Hall come out and join them. But we've officially seen a break, and we have 2 separate packs now. I want to go back here, and unfortunately I don't think I'm going to find it, but I'm trying to find Joshua Hanner. For a moment took over first place.
Oh, that's interesting. I thought they were staying single file, but Marshall Hall might have some issues or something, right? Josh decided to take a little peek there.
He's running a little bit high, and something these drivers are going to have to keep an eye on is their engine temperatures, to where the longer that they run in these packs and the closer that they are, these cars have a really good chance of overheating. If anyone watched the Pro Invitational, we unfortunately saw Clint Boyer get taken out because he was pushing too hard, too close, and had an engine blow on him.
Yeah, and it's not quite as bad with this package as it was with the old package. The old package, you needed to be directly on the person in front of you and pushing them the entire way. With this package, you're able to leave, not only are you able, you should leave a little bit of a gap and kind of push that bubble around. And that allows a little bit more air to get to your radiator. But yeah, if we've got long green flag runs, overheating could become an issue.
Actually gonna make a quick jump back here, as it looks like we're starting to see a few more breakaway groups here, as this group of 3 with Timothy St. Jean, Stephen Dominy, and Johnny Edwards, if they keep trying to go too wide, they're just going to keep increasing that gap in front of them, to where right now it's actually a 1.5 seconds. and they won't be able to even hold off this back group led by Joe Dinsmore.
I'm really shocked by what this back group's doing right now. I mean, I know you want to race and all, but I don't know. The thoughts there could be that there might be a caution that's going to come out, and you want to have every position you can have. But man, I'd be lining up and trying to gain up to the back. But that's going to be difficult to do with the way they're lined up. They're just not breaking out of that single file line. Although it looks like we got someone peeking, maybe Blake Gordon.
Let's go ahead back up to the front here, and I think he's just occasionally testing the waters to see.
And he might have been trying to cool his engine a little bit there too. But yeah, he took a little peek there for a second and then tucked back in line. But yeah, these guys, it's funny, you know, we brought up things to watch for at the beginning of the race. Watch the outside line, and they're all running around the inside. But that'll change by the end of the race. These guys are playing it very smart right now. They realize that these top 14 people or so realize that if they can stay lined up like this, they're... Oh, we've got a crash there.
We have caution out on the track. And
that second pack.
You're going to have to point it out for me because, yeah, there's like so much going on.
Looks like Peter Norquay, perhaps, or Tony Pandon.
Let's go ahead back this way. And yep, that looks like that's what happened. And oh, William Klingbill gets caught up in that. I think it just...
It looks like someone just got down a little too low, and then someone else... yeah.
Let's go ahead. Because it looks like William Klingbill got his bumper tapped in the process. And yeah, we just got a little bit too close. He got pushed up into Brandon Bernhardt.
I thought Klingbill went to the bottom, but it looks like he may have gotten bumped from behind, which turned him a little bit down, and he went down and then tried to come back up. And man, you hate seeing that. Really unfortunate there.
I think I have officially confused iRacing here. And there we go. Now I can get to what we were looking at here. But it looks like Klingbill is actually able to bring it live. But he is going to bring it into the pits, and we're starting to see just about everybody
I think everybody
dive in. Yes, everybody is currently on pit road, and Josh Hanner makes the pass coming out.
Did he go fuel only?
He probably went fuel only. Having been in with him in these kinds of races in the Sportsman a few weeks back, every moment that I thought to myself, I need to...
Wow. Okay, so I'm looking here at pit times here. His pit time was a little bit slower than a few people around him, but I'm going to talk about pit lane time. This is the time it took for him to drive down pit road. He had the second fastest of any driver. Blake Gordon had 33.62. He had 33.63. For comparison, Justin Anderson, who's right behind him, had 34.48. So he was pushing it right there to get, go as fast as he could up against the speed limit of pit road.
And Josh Hanner is one of those, the highest rated in iRacing's iRating in the Cup Series, and is a self-proclaimed specialist on the restrictor plate tracks. So I trust he knows what he's doing, and he's really hoping that his maiden race has him going up to the top.
Yeah, this is a new package, though, so whether or not this works out for him, we'll have to see, I guess. But I mean, it looks like everybody took the same pit strategy. It's just that he just won on pit road, so that was good for him there. A lot of other guys did really well too. Like I said, Blake Gordon had a really good pit lane time. She had a better pit time as well, gained some positions. He's a fourth. But yeah, I think it's great seeing Hanner up there, and I think you get Justin Anderson, Blake Gordon battling for the championship here. They're right there as well. Marshall Hall still in the mix. Mike Burgess, Johnny Downey. Hey, look, Larry Patrick up to 8 now. So a lot of guys you don't necessarily always see up at the front, but I think it can make some really exciting racing.
Restrictor plate tracks always even the field a little bit to where it just comes down almost purely to who has the right strategy and who is the best in pit lane. Because we are 1 to green at this point, but we also have about a minute and a half, or 2 minutes before we're even close to it.
Yeah, I want to point out one thing I'm kind of surprised by right now is where Dan Witt is running, and actually where Joe Dinsmore is running as well. Both of these guys are very good at restrictor plate tracks. Joe's currently running 13th. Dan is running 25th. I think he was involved a little bit in some of that incident. Also either didn't qualify well or didn't qualify. I'm not sure.
He was at the very back of the pack.
Yeah. So he might just be hanging around lurking, or it could be the new package causing issues for him. But I wouldn't be surprised if Dan Witt move up and get back in this race.
Well, and Joe Dinsmore was one of the unlucky people that was in the outside line to start this track, or this race. And just because they dropped so quickly and so drastically, he just got pushed down and only had the opportunity to get himself up due to a little bit of ingenuity and that second pack. Once they started catching up to people, they were able to make the outside line work and keep moving forward.
Yeah, I think that you're going to see, again, at some point, the second outside line is going to have to work. I mean, or else, this race is just going to be, guys running in a line. So I think you're going to start seeing side drafting at some point. But as I mentioned earlier, side drafting is where you're going to bring cautions. I think guys are being really safe with it right now, trying not to push it too hard. Pace car is coming off.
So I'm actually, as we get started here, I'm going to set the camera to exciting, and we're just going to turn it up. Alright, we are back, and we are with our leader who managed to get an amazing jump to make sure he could hold on to that lead, and we're seeing this front pack go back to single file.
Yeah, Josh Hanner got a great jump there, and Marshall Hall was right there with him in tow, and fortunately for Justin Anderson, he was able to tuck in and not lose positions like you saw all those guys on the outside line lose earlier. And it actually looks at the field, didn't shuffle up much here at all. Just about everybody was able to get tucked in. And yeah, we're all single file. We're going to run around, do a few circles here.
Well, let's talk about Blake Gordon, who has now made up 7 positions and is running in 4th.
Yeah, I mean, are we really surprised about Blake being up there and being factor? He talks about not liking this style of racing, but dude knows how to wheel it, and so does the guy in front of him, Justin Anderson. You're going to see them up near the front. the best way to avoid wrecks for the most part is to stay up in front. Sure, there could be a wreck up in front of you, but you just want to reduce the number of cars that are in front of you so you can reduce the odds of getting involved in something.
And again, with Blake, it's not necessarily that he hates it because he's bad at it. My guess is it's harder to qualify well. He is the league's resident alien, so him and anything that involves precise braking and throttle control is his best friend. Whereas the winner tonight, I've said it already, is going to be the person with the best strategy.
Yeah, I mean, and even outside of that, there's a certain art to racing. I mean, actually, knowing how to time your runs, knowing how to have momentum to pass someone, or in this case, if you're quarter panels, you can a side draft without stalling out. And even now, I'm looking here at Hannah, and he gained a little bit of a gap there on Marshall Hall. You got to be really careful of that because guys, running second or third or something may start dragging their brakes a little bit to try to get a little bit of a gap form, and then get a big run on you and shoot to the outside. I don't think we're going to see that this early. I think they're all comfortable running around, getting accustomed to the car. They also might be trying to prove a point that the Cup Series can run caution-free as well, although that hasn't they've already lost that. So,
well, and let's talk about another elephant in the room as we're starting to see towards the back of the pack. We're starting to see an outside line form up.
But they are dropping.
Yes, they are. And they are moving their way to the very back of the field, which is unfortunate to see. And especially in this situation, let's talk stint length.
Well, everyone should be the same right now.
Well, everybody is the same at this point, but we have one caution. I'm not sure there's going to be many more, and you're only looking 25 laps.
Yeah, our fuel window here, we're looking at 23 to 28 laps, depending on how much you're able to draft. For Hannah up front right now, his fuel mileage is going to be a lot lower than the guys behind him. So, yeah, I mean, you're looking at them pitting.
As we see Dan Witt get booted coming down into Dan Shirley. But able to hold out the caution. Yeah, that's skill right there.
Wow, him hitting the wall, I didn't think that was guaranteed caution, but when he came back down to Dan Shirley, I thought that we were about to have a yellow there. But wow, just able to keep it straight, that's incredible.
And yeah, these guys just slotting back in line, but that is creating a bit of a gap to where I'm not sure what Dan's doing there, trying to move out to the side, because Mike Burgess right behind him. Those two need to start working together to come up, get Kevin Pearson, start getting a little bit of a pack together, get a run, and that may be what we need to see the outside line work.
Yeah, and one thing I'm really, you were talking about green flag pit stops, with stint lengths and all that. I really hope we get to see green flag pit stops here, because that's at a super speedway. That's where you start seeing how good teams work together. Because you not only make sure your team comes on pit road together, you got to make sure they come off together as well. And also you're going to start seeing, if you're a smaller team, maybe beforehand you reached out to some other teams and said, hey, why don't we work together a little bit? Because the last thing you want is to, be a 4-person pack when, there's somebody out there, with 7, 8 people running around.
Well, and that's the situation right now with the 2-man team of closed circuit racing, since it's truly the first time closed circuit's ever had cars on the track, with Larry Patrick, who defected from First Response Racing, and Josh Hanner making his debut. And we say that Larry defected, yet they're working with First Response tonight.
Yeah, I mean, I think you're going to see a lot of that come out in different capacities. Even if it's not something formal, you might see, certain drivers, trying to push their teams like, hey, when so-and-so pits, I want to pit as well because, you're good at, you work well together. Like, we've seen in recent weeks, Blake Ford and Justin Anderson have worked really well together. I'm not necessarily saying that, Steel Horse and Endeavor, were in some sort of alliance, but it wouldn't surprise me to see those guys put together just because of the fact that they do run so well together, especially a couple weeks ago at the Truck Series at Daytona. They were right there together at the end.
And when you put two of the fastest teams together and coordinate if we go green flag stops to where everybody goes in at the same time, you're definitely going to start seeing you need to have more than 5 cars go in to be able to keep with this pack. Oh,
and it looks like Marshall Hall is dropping back. Not sure what happened there. That's a little strange, but So I think you're gonna see some alliances like that. Absolutely. I think what I'm really gonna be looking for is you don't want to be the first team to pit, especially on a green flag, because there's so much potential for things to go wrong. You bring out a caution, and at least here you won't go a lap down from pitting, but a lot of factors in play. I'm really curious to see how this is going to play out.
Well, as we see the first car that's about to go a lap down in John Gordon, just running that high line while that train makes its way right past him.
Man, that is. I want to commend him on running the high line that cleanly, because usually, I'll be honest, I can't run that very top line like that. That goes to the wall without hitting it. So props to him for that. He's a sitting duck right now. He's got no draft help. He's just going to go a lap down.
As we see that bright purple guitar addict of Randy Pepper, as we have action in the back, and we have our second caution of the night.
Deep Domini.
Wrong one. Let's see what happens here. Stephen Domini. Chopper. I think I probably went just a little too far back there. So I was just looking for anything. Oh, it's just a little bit laggy. Oh,
he's got hooked there.
Yeah, that's never a good thing, but that brings out our...
Was that Ross Gage that got into him?
That was the
88
of Peter Norquay. And luckily that was the only car involved in that, to where 2 cautions tonight, and actually all of them have been relatively tame for Talladega.
I don't know if Stephen Dominic, in your assessment, that it was lucky.
For everyone but him.
Yeah, that was.
We are currently lucky. As it looks like it may have just been that the pit lane's not as we're starting to see everyone make their way into the pits. And we'll keep an eye on. I'm going to go to the blimp to where we can see this race off of pit road as Justin Anderson. He's
pushing it.
As Josh Hanner, who does have the closer pit stall, we're going to see what happens here. As Justin beats him to the line to take the lead. Now, iRacing can be fickle with these kinds of things, so there is a chance that it is going to give Hanner the spot. But
I don't think so. I think that was pretty clear.
Josh's pit time was 7.73 seconds, whereas Justin Anderson's was 7.03. So
that something's different showing up for mine. I'm showing Josh Hanner as 7.58 and Justin 6.82. But regardless,
it's still
scoring things. Yeah.
It's still significantly faster, but
and Justin was also faster on pit lane as well, so that's a big win for him there.
Let's take a look as we have John Gordon, who ended up staying out, and right behind him is Tony Pandon. Is this a strategy to keep themselves on the lead lap?
Well, John probably got to be a lucky dog, so that's probably why he stayed out there.
While you're contemplating, let's hear from our sponsor for the evening, Guitar Attic.
For 20 years, the Guitar Attic has been your home for used and vintage guitars in the Daytona Beach area and at GuitarAttic.com. The Guitar Attic is your home for used and vintage guitars. Whether you're looking for that collector's piece or that beginner piece, they've got you covered. With names like Fender, Gibson, Gretsch, Ibanez, Martin, Taylor, and much, much more, the Guitar Attic has all the guitars you need. And bass players, they haven't forgot about you. They've got all the top names. Amplifiers from Friedman, Victoria, Fender, Boss, and many, many more. They also have the largest selection of used pedals anywhere in the Southeast. The Guitar Attic, located at 1672.5 Ridgewood Avenue, just north of Flomish in Holly Hill, Florida. Also, check us out online at GuitarAttic.com.
And we're back as John Gordon and Tony Pandon actually made the dive into the pits. And Dan Shirley is also making a dive into the pits, getting the fast repair from the damage he had earlier, and then just making his way back out with a splash and go.
Yeah, I mean, if you're running at the back, might as well arm in it.
As we are about to go green, let's go ahead and give ourselves a quick rundown of the standings at this point. And we have Justin Anderson in first, Joshua Hanner in second, Blake Gordon in third, Johnny Downey in fourth, Marshall Hall fifth, Adam Wood, who won the IVRL this week, has made his way up into sixth, Larry Patrick in seventh, Rick Kohler in eighth, Randy Pepper ninth, and Brian Tiffany in 10th.
Yeah, we were talking earlier about closed circuit and first response possibly working together. A lot of those cars up in the top 10 right now. Let's hope they don't all wreck each other out.
That would be beneficial. That we currently have everybody still out on the track. We have 2 cautions. Both have been relatively minor. And again, the big thing here is the one fast repair to where we did get to see Dan Shirley use his, and that should make him be able to get back up and competitive.
Yeah, I think, look, again, it's a restrictor plate track. Anybody's competitive at this point. Everybody's competitive.
And anybody can still win this. As we are about to go green flag racing, and our leader can go whenever he feels. And we'll move to the TV3, and he's just sitting, waiting.
Oh, Blake is right there on him. He's ready to go.
And as we've seen, that outside line is going to have issues. But Josh Hanner does not relinquish that position, and he is going to fight there, but there's no one behind him to help keep him moving forward.
Johnny Downey's coming up, though. But
he does have room to drop himself down, and leaves Johnny Downey, who had room.
Yep, Johnny's got a spot. He's good.
And we're starting to see, as those gaps form, everybody drop in line.
Yep. I think you're going to see some lot of that up until the end. Again, I think they're just trying to survive at this point. They must have heard us talking about the possibility of the big one, and they're like, I'm going to have no part of that.
And honestly, with the AOLL in comparison to the IVRL, we do give the Cup guys one fast repair, so they do have an opportunity, if there is an incident, to get their car fixed. And especially on a restrictor, you need that aero.
Yeah, but you don't want to be taking that at lap 30. You can avoid it.
No, you do not. Because we haven't even hit the midpoint. And
race is going pretty quickly overall, though. I'm pretty impressed with how clean these guys have been. We've had a couple of small incidents, but we actually might escape this. Not a big one.
I don't think that is gonna happen. Just because, yeah, it's going to get dicey. It's going to get competitive as we hit the end of this race.
One thing I will say that I'm concerned watching this from like a driver perspective is this Aero Package track position matters a lot more than it previously did. You can't get you can get a big run on someone if you get a big enough gap. It's not like it's crazy, like, this line's pushing this line, and so track position matters. If you wait too long to make your move, like you're sitting there on the inside line, you're coasting along, you're like, I'm gonna wait until 3 to go. You might have waited too long. There just may not be time to make that happen on an outside line or something like that.
Well, and as we're seeing here, as we go towards the midfield, again, we're seeing Steve Gottschalk, who every time he does fight his way back up, he just ends up on the outside line and cannot find his way back forward.
Well, I'll be honest, I've been kind of watching him. I think he's had some opportunities to drop down. I think he likes working that outside line, and I think he's possibly preparing for later in the race when that outside line is going to have to work. As a racer, it sucks. Everyone's just lining up, and I get both perspectives, but you want to go, you want to race, like especially if you're at the back. It's like I don't want to be back here anymore. I'll be at the front.
But we're seeing our number 2 qualifier at the back. And again, he is a perennial favorite at just about any track, where he's never looked like the position he belongs in, the position he's in right now. He's just had some bad luck.
Oh no, I mean Steve Gottschalk is fast. He's constantly fast, and I know that he can run in tracks like this. You're right. He's had bad luck, and the lines have pulled up in his favor. So I think things are going to change, though. I think we're going to start seeing some guys make some crazy moves at some point to try to gain positions. And then, we got a wreck.
That is going to bring out caution again. Waiting for my timing and scoring to catch up to me.
Oh, yeah, it looks like Kevin Pearson. Not sure.
Let's kind of just see what the tail of the tape is here, as it just looks like...
That wasn't a great angle.
No, it was not. Let's go ahead and go to TV1 and go back to the same thing.
It looks like they were just stacking up back there.
Kevin catches the wall and just starts taking out just about everyone.
I think it was Steve Gottschalk who possibly he was trying to get on the outside of Steve, and then got pushed up a little bit and hit the wall and came back down, unfortunately. Yeah, that's exactly what happened. He was trying to go to the outside of Gottschalk there, and Gottschalk came up. And
unfortunately, we're seeing Joe Densmore and looked like Johnny Downey caught in that.
Oh, hold on. We've got some interesting pit strategy here happening. Justin Anderson, Blake Gordon have pitted. But it looks like there are no other takers. Maybe further back in the field. Further back in the field have gone. It looks like 17th. Now Timothy St. Jean is in pits. But, yeah, this is going to drop Justin Anderson and Blake Gordon back a little bit.
Man, I cannot keep up with this. There's just so much going on and so many people going on.
A lot of drama right now.
Now, we're starting to see cautions are coming out pretty frequently. Is our leader of Joshua Hanner, is he betting on another caution coming out? Because, again, we can look at this and all of our top runners.
Well, here's what I think the thinking behind it is. Nobody can do it in one. Nobody can do it in one stop. Or sorry. The guys back there can do it in one stop. I think. Hold on, I'm doing math right now. I'm writing some stuff down. It looks like everybody could do it on one more stop. So if you have to stop again, anyways. Not a huge point in stopping now. The only fear you have as the leader is if you pit under green, and then I'll be honest. I'm not sure why some of those guys pitted there. Maybe it's just beyond what my brain can handle right now. But
as we look through, we'll just use Hanner as the guinea pig here. We had 11 laps, 15 laps, and he's on 8 laps right now.
Right. So I mean, my thinking is like everybody can make it on one stop. Okay. So if you're, you don't typically at most tracks you don't want to pit under green and then a caution comes out after, but at a track like this, that's an advantage because then you wouldn't go a lap down, then those guys pit, and you're at the front. So, look, this could play out in many ways, some weird ways. I don't know how it's going to play out, but it's going to be exciting to watch.
It very much is, and again, there is at least one more stop to where we're just over halfway with having 34 laps to go. No matter what, everybody's going to have to make one stop. The question becomes, will it be under caution or will it be green flag?
But again, there is not really a penalty to pitting under green here if everyone still has to pit at some point. I think that I think the guys who did not pit are sitting pretty right now.
And especially for someone like Josh Hanner, he could be going for the bonus points of most laps led.
Yeah, I mean, that's entirely a possibility. I don't think our timing scoring lists currently laps led. There's not, but I mean, he's led quite a few. I know Justin Anderson has as well. Marshall Hall has. So I'm not sure. Yeah, I mean, that could be entirely it, trying to get some bonus points here. So what I'm going to be watching here now is, you've got some guys in Blake and Justin who are very, very fast. And actually, Justin has fallen back to 26th. Blake is in 16th. But these guys are very fast. How aggressive are they going to be trying to get up to the field? Because if everybody goes single file again, they could be in trouble.
And we've seen it on every restart so far. The fight has always been to get down to the low line and get yourself tucked in away. And anybody that ends up left on that outside line, for lack of a better term, is a bit screwed.
Yeah, but I mean, again, I cannot. I have a hard time seeing Blake Gordon sitting back in 15th, 16th, just saying, you know what, I'll drop in line here.
We have Joshua Hanner get out to a massive jump to give room for Marshall Hall to get into that lower line, but we're seeing Larry Patrick make his way back down, get into that 4th position, as the inside line looks like they're being a bit of gentlemen, but that could also be that our fellow Ghostfire Media broadcaster of Adam Wood being a gentleman and liking to see him fall 1 position short of his best experience in 3rd at Daytona Dirt, or Bristol Dirt.
Yeah, so I'm basically going to keep my camera focused on Blake Gordon right now, because I think that's where the excitement is going to be for me, and I'll let you know if there's anything exciting happening. He's trying to make that outside line work right now.
He is pushing Ross Gage as much as he possibly can.
Oh, they were bumper to bumper for a little bit. He was shoving him.
If they can make that outside line work, there's enough of a gap to get yourselves dropped down. Again, we're seeing that outside line on restarts just is not working.
Yeah, if that inside line of the front pack can get tightened up, they might be able to pull out enough that this outside line.
As there goes that outside line, and
yeah,
Blake is diving down and leaving Ross out to dry. And
come on, Blake, he helped get you there.
Yeah.
But, hey, there are. Look, you get temporary grounds on a restrictor plate track. You know that more than anybody. It feels like every time I push you to the lead, you just drop down to the other line. Yeah, I think this other group here led by Blake is a little bit of trouble. Here a little ways back, probably outside of the draft right now.
But they are relatively tightly formed and may be able to make their way up there. But we are seeing a line form behind them that once they all get caught up, unless they go outside, which I do believe that Kevin Haas is smart enough to not try to make that, and know that he's relying on those front cars to make it back up to the main pack.
Yeah, they are almost certainly outside of the reach of the draft, but they're still gaining ground quickly. I think that's just a testament to how smooth of a driver Blake is, because you can definitely make up some time just by really hugging that yellow line and being smooth on your inputs. Because it started, when I first said that, it was like something like 1.8 seconds. The gap's now down to 1.1. So he's definitely making up some position, or some time.
And he's just pulling everyone around, and it's going up by hundredths of a second. But as we see that a little bit of a breakaway, it looked like Dan Shirley was going to have a few people join him, but ultimately, no one decided to bite and help him to get moving a little bit forward.
Yeah, that front pack, I don't think tightened up as good as they needed to in order to really pull away. I mean, there's some pretty big gaps in that line, and I think if they had tightened up a little bit, they could have pulled away. But Blake's been getting close to getting a taste of that draft right now, and then once he does, I think he's going to start trying to make that outside work again.
To be able to get that draft, you need to be roughly 0.7 seconds behind to actually be able to make it really work, and they're still above a second.
Yep. It was constantly dropping, and actually we're dropping a little bit again now. Could be a little bit of the accordion effect.
But he's actually below a second right now and slowly moving up. They may be able to catch a sniff of it and really move that pack forward, because the second pack right now, led by Kevin Haas, is within the range that they should be able to pull themselves up. And
yeah, what Blake and Andrew Burgess and Donald Warnke have done here is incredible. I thought they were going to be well outside of being able to catch that draft, but you know, that front pack just didn't pull up well enough, and they're right there now. They're going to get a huge run here. I bet Blake's going to go to the outside.
And he does. And take everyone around Ed Springer. And he's not stopping.
Oh, no, he's not going to stop. I think he's going to be side-drafting everyone aggressively, and
he knows he has the car control. The question becomes who that he's running up along also has that control. He's not giving anyone any space to where we see Rick Kohler give him a little bit of a nudge, and there he goes dropping down to that lower line and leaving those guys behind.
Oh, wow. He is going to try to make the outside work by himself, and he is making it work. I am puzzled by the gaps in this front gap. Maybe they're just being really conservative, but it's a little puzzling right now. I think they could have pulled away from that pack if they had just tightened up, but it is what it is. You got these guys up here now.
Well, and Blake is slowly getting a little bit of help from Andrew Burgess, but the amount of time it took them to actually get up there, he lost all the momentum. And
yeah, but
now
I think he's going to be all right. He's going to side draft here. He's going to get a little bit of push, and he's going to start making up some spots again.
Well, what we're seeing is Rick Kohler, every time he actually gets up close to him, shifts a little bit out to the outside and sends him a little bit higher and then ducks back down.
Yeah, trying to keep him from side drafting. That's really all you can do in the corners there, because on the straightaways, I'm seeing him even drop below the yellow line a little bit to keep that side drafting from working. But yeah, I mean, in the corners, you don't have a lot of options. You certainly can't drop down to the apron.
As Blake almost gets out in front, but Rick is fighting him back, keeping him just to his outside, as Blake loses Andrew Burgess, who had enough of a hole to make his way down, and he's given Rick Kohler a little bit of a shove to make sure that Blake cannot get up there.
He's giving him the business.
He's giving him just a little bit of the tip.
So, yeah, like, we're going back single file again. Here it comes. After all of that, we're going back single file, but Burgess is going.
Makes a dive as we have a little bit of contact. Everybody keeps it straight.
Wow.
But we're only one position gain there. And Andrew Burgess has made his way up to 8th. And this is just, we're 25 left. We're going to start seeing some of these lead cars making the dive into the pits here soon.
Yeah, can you bring the stint window back up? Yeah, let's take a look here.
We're at 19 laps.
They've got, especially Josh Hanna running up front, really unable to save fuel himself. He's got to be thinking about pitting soon.
I think he's going to run that until it goes away.
Oh, yeah.
Because if he doesn't, he's definitely not going to make it to the end. He's going to need to get it to where hopefully at least 22 to go. Because in that front position, he's full throttle the whole way.
Yeah, I think that's the biggest thing that group has to worry about right now. Although I guess most of the group doesn't have to worry about it, but there's a chance he might have pit by himself, and that's not going to be good.
Well, he does have the teammate of Larry Patrick and a few of the first response guys, none of which pitted.
Yeah, well, I was just simply stating that he might be out of fuel a lap or so earlier. I mean, that could be how much difference the front will make.
As he stays out, he's right in the window that is going to make him come in. If he can get one more lap in there, as we see someone peeling off. And that was Kevin Haas.
Kevin Haas.
right now, you see Blake Gordon giving Randy Pepper the business.
Yeah, I'm really anxious here to see if they're going to pit this time or if they're going to be able to do it one more time. Who knows, though? Maybe he'll do it several more. I mean, for all we know, they even as the leader, you know, with a lot of guys behind him who are on the same strategy, he might have been lifting a little bit. You know, you do have some opportunities as a leader to lift, like, you know, the guy behind you lifts. You know, you don't want too big of a gap to form so they can get a run. So typically in that situation, you drag the brake a little bit, but you know, you can potentially also lift a little and try to save some fuel.
Well, we also have to think about the fact that some of these laps that he did were under caution. And when you're only running 65 in these cars, does not use as much as when you're running 180 miles an hour.
Yeah, I think you might have some guys pitting here. I don't think that our leader's going to be one of them. But I am watching speeds right now and
staying out for one more lap.
At least.
And this is where the strategy will come to get everyone. And I know he's really wanting to stay out there, make sure that he is in control of this race, which he has been for the entirety of this stint and after this caution. And we're only seeing 4 cars making breaks to that outside line. And one of those is Andrew Burgess, who really has not had much of a drop since he's moved to the outside line.
Well, you're definitely not going to see any of the guys who have to pit soon on the outside. The last thing you want to do is get held hostage up there and not be able to get back to the bottom. So those guys are going to stay on the bottom. I don't care what happens, because they're going to need to be sure they get back down to the bottom in order to do it.
As our leader stays out for another lap, so he
should be good on fuel, I would imagine.
At any point, there has to be a lot of radio chatter about when they're going to come in. And an advantage with these plate tracks, a full tank of fuel, while you may want to save the time, ultimately will drop that rear end of the car, make that spoiler a little less noticeable with your top speed.
I think they're about to pit this time.
Yeah, and they are. We're seeing that group. Everybody's diving in. And that is the first response and the closed circuit guys all coming in at the same time. As Marshall Hall makes the pass on pit lane.
He was coming in hot there. Hopefully he didn't get a penalty. That was fast.
Let's move ourselves to the blimp so we can see what the race off of pit lane looks like. So we're starting to see everybody peel off, and Josh Hanner loses quite a few spots.
I think he took tires. It's a big difference, and so did Marshall Hall, I believe. The important thing for these guys right now is to get lined up. You got to get lined up and together, or else this whole advantage of pitting together was meaningless.
Well, we're possibly going to start to see, as Adam Wood is the first driver off the pit lane in this group, and he is off. And he was the IVRL winner from this past Tuesday.
We've got another pack pitting. Blake Gordon and the pack that pitted earlier, they pitted. Blake Gordon wins the battle off pit road there. I was not expecting them to come so soon.
I was not either. And they were just reacting to make sure that they're all on just about the same strategy, just with one lap newer. And they are out.
They are currently ahead of our guys who pitted ahead of them. And
with this, are we about to see Dan Witt leading a lap
There you go, Dan.
on pit strategy alone? Let's take a quick gander. He's right in the middle. He may be coming in the next lap or two. But he is currently our leader and leading a lap.
So I'm taking a look here, trying to figure out what happened with those guys that pitted earlier, and I'll be honest, I'm not sure what really happened. I look at Adam Wood. He had a faster pit time, had a faster pit lane time than Blake Ford, and still just.
And they're all coming out as a group.
But that we were talking about earlier, those top guys, they are running together better right now.
They're lined up perfectly. As let's take a look and see. Again, they are just in a perfect line.
Yep, I'm sitting here. I'm watching because they're coming up on Blake and Justin and Curry, and also Randy Pepper right there, their teammate as well. And Justin just stalled out any momentum this line had.
But they are forming up where they have matched the leaders as Adam and Johnny do dive to the outside. And moving out to the outside like that, where it's only two cars, the outside line should be able to be faster because you need a few cars in that line to really make that draft work perfectly.
Well, yeah, but that inside line is starting to tighten up as well. Is Steve Gottschalk down there? Yeah, Steve Gottschalk.
That is Steve Gottschalk coming in to where, yep, the outside line. But what we are seeing is Adam Wood forming up on that outside line with a bit of a push, may be able to get this line moving. And the outside line is forming up just as nicely to where the outside line has more vehicles in it.
Yeah, honestly, that was masterful what Blake and Justin were able to do. They were two cars by themselves, and I was expecting to get run over, and here they are. They timed it perfectly to keep, to stall out the momentum of that pack. And
as Adam Wood drops down to the lead of this race, now he's going to be able to control that inside line. Now,
abandon the teammate there.
Is it a strategy thing to allow his teammates maybe hold up a little bit?
Maybe.
And
or maybe he's
allow a run.
I'm not sure. Yeah,
I like to believe that Adam's a bit more of a gentleman than I am.
Yeah, it's cool seeing Adam up here leading laps after he won the IBRL race. He's someone we haven't talked about a ton, but he's really good at this style of racing.
It all comes down to him being smooth and just conniving is the best way to put it. As Blake is getting right up on his bumper, and that's a really rough position to be in for everyone.
Yeah, it's going to make the car unstable for actually both the cars. Blake and Adam are going to be unstable. You've got someone right there pushing each other like that.
But that outside line is not going to go away as we do have 13 laps to go.
Yeah, if they're going to want to make this work, Marshall Hall needs to tighten up to Josh Hanner there. And, you see Hanner do a little side drafting on Steve Gottschalk. Stall that a little bit.
So we do see a gap form for him. And this, I'll be honest, I've raced with Josh Hanner. I've also never had him pushing me. I've always been the pusher in those situations.
Right. I mean, look, Hanner's not going to be happy with finishing, what is he running now, 6th or something. he's not going to be content with that position. So I think, and there's a lot of guys, I mean, they're not going to be content with Blake Gordon. He's not going to be content with second. So someone's going to make a move eventually. Adam's got to hope that his teammates can get up there and help him, so that it's not just he had Blake and Justin and Steve Gottschalk right there. Could potentially leave him hanging out to dry.
But Adam does, unlike Tuesday night, he does have the fuel to make it to the end. So he's got the ability to make that car a few lanes wide and keep Blake at bay. And the longer that he does that, it gives our outside line the opportunity to form up. And again, they aren't dropping like we were seeing the outside line earlier in the race as easily.
Well, so the problem is
we're also coming to lap traffic.
You can hold back Blake, but then you got Justin right here. You get Steve Gottschalk, you get Dan Shirley. There are a lot of really good drivers up here at the front. I don't want to be Adam right now. If I were out there, I'd obviously want to be leading the race, but he's in a tough position right now. The outside's getting a little bit of a run here.
But again, let's bring ourselves to a bit wider of an angle. We see a few solo cars in that future, and we're going to have to see.
I imagine they're going to get out of the way. Cannot imagine they're going to risk ruining anyone's night by getting in the way here.
But we're going to start to see that. We're going to see that outside line do exactly that. Be able to get a bit of a run from that, as we're seeing Johnny Downey making a good run on Adam Wood with Ross Gage, who is a member of that first response group.
Yeah, I mean, sure, that's, you got a situation here. I mean, obviously, you're now battling your teammate, Adam and Johnny battling, but, I mean, if you're Adam, this isn't necessarily a bad thing. Like, that outside line, Blake can't pass you up there now.
But Johnny Downey has taken the lead momentarily.
Yeah, this outside line is actually starting to work now. Looking really strong.
And with that, they make the pass on John Gordon. Dan Witt drops down to below the yellow line. And Blake is not giving any space for Adam. I think that was less for him to mess with Adam and more to make sure that that inside line was moving in the way that it needed to keep that outside line at bay.
Look, this new package, you should, generally speaking, only be pushing the bubble. But there are times where you've got to get on that car's bumper in front of you and push them. Which is why it's been frustrating at times to see some cars that are running in a pack and you have one car gap in between them. Like, you gotta tighten it up, boys. Let's get going. Let's race.
As Johnny Downey makes the drop down to that lower line, leaving Josh Hanner to just drop like a rock.
Yeah, because he doesn't really have the support there. Maybe that outside line will tighten up a bit, but yeah, I mean, he's not in a great position right now because if he's going to get any help out there, it's probably going to be from someone like Blake Gordon, but he's got a good run here. Might be able to make something work.
He's going to need to drop down just a little bit and get some of that side draft, and as I say that, he moves down, but Blake does the exact same thing to keep him a little bit away. But as we have 7 to go, we're starting to see a little bit of scrappiness coming out of these guys.
Oh, yeah, you're going to see that. I mean, hey, it's crunch time now. You got to get going. You know what I was saying? You can't wait too long to make the move here because the runs take so much time to get going. It's not like an instantaneous thing. So you got to plan your moves a few laps in advance and know what you're going to do to finish the race.
Now, this is the question of the gentleman teammate. Does Johnny or Adam drift a little bit high to where that outside line has the ability to catch a little bit of draft from him so they can roll up there and keep the fight to Blake Gordon.
You know, I want to see that happen, but at the same time, like, they're running their race and trying to, you've seen how dominant the inside lane has been. You do that, you're risking giving up position to somebody like Blake Gordon.
As we start to see these guys go a little bit offset in the line, because there's a good chance that...
Oh, Josh Hanner's coming.
He's coming hard.
But again, I'm still seeing some gaps in this outside line. They got to tighten it up. Come on, let's go.
But he has the nose up the front as we are going through the backstretch. He may be able to get enough of a run and get himself in front, but...
I don't think so. He stalled out there a little bit. Didn't have any support behind him. And Johnny Downey, but Downey's got a big gap behind him now. And Adam Wood does as well.
Josh Hanner does have the room to move down, but he wants that position.
Yep. But this inside line's about to have
as
a huge
he's
run.
dropping down and takes the lead from Johnny Downey, and with 4 to go,
he can't let too big of a gap build up, though. He cannot let too big of a gap build up, because then that will enable Johnny Downey to get a run and then shoot up to the top and try to get around it. So,
but Marshall Hall is in the right position to prevent that from happening.
Well, it depends on how much of a gap it is. He has too big of a gap. Downey can get a huge run.
There is
not now.
Nothing there now.
It closed up in a hurry, but now there's something.
But will we have takers at this point, or are we going to see them just wait, bide their time, as we see Blake getting right up there on Adam Wood still?
It depends on what position you're in. Johnny Downey and Adam Wood, I don't think you want to make a move this early. But if you're a little bit further back, you got to start thinking, I've got to start something now. I cannot wait much longer, or else this is where I'm going to finish.
And Marshall Hall's just in the worst position he could possibly imagine. On the outside line, only 4 cars. As this breakaway pack is... I think we are about to start seeing... It looks like Blake Gordon is actually thinking about that outside line.
Yeah, Blake and Justin are toying with it. They're going. Oh, but Justin,
we're going to see Josh Hanner, most likely, make a little bit of a move to the outside to kill what momentum he can.
I think right now he's got to try to hold that inside for now.
As it looks like Johnny Downey actually is the one that does that. But that outside line, it's not as deep. We need to see Adam Wood getting up there on that bumper. It's only 2 laps to go, and now...
Adam might be trying to get a run going so he can push himself back up there.
But we're starting to see 3 and 4 wide going into turn 3 as we're about to cross for the checker. But that little bit of shuffling is making it...
Justin is all over Blake's back bumper right now. They are pushing and shoving.
I'm going to go to... because this camera is going to be... Oh, we have caution out on the track right before. Let's see. Oh. I'm not exactly sure what happened here.
I'm watching it. It looks like Peter Norquay got into Larry Package.
Oh. I haven't talked about Larry for a little while.
Yeah,
I was wondering what happened there.
He was running back like 13th or so last time I checked, and that'll I'm not gonna say it's gonna end his night, but it'll almost certainly end any chance of him winning the race.
Well, fortunately, where Larry was.
Oh, and I said that Peter spun him, but Larry was kind of all over the track a little bit. I'm not sure what happened there.
Larry, what are you doing? But let's bring ourselves back live, and I'm going to give us one quick last shout out to our sponsor for the night.
For 20 years, the Guitar Attic has been your home for used and vintage guitars in the Daytona Beach area and at GuitarAddict.com. The Guitar Attic is your home for used and vintage guitars. Whether you're looking for that collector's piece or that beginner piece, they've got you covered. With names like Fender, Gibson, Gretsch, Ibanez, Martin, Taylor, and much, much more, the Guitar Attic has all the guitars you need. And bass players, they haven't forgot about you. They've got all the top names. Amplifiers from Friedman, Victoria, Fender, Boss, and many, many more. They also have the largest selection of used pedals anywhere in the Southeast. The Guitar Attic, located at 1672.5 Ridgewood Avenue, just north of Flemish in Holly Hill, Florida. Also, check us out online at GuitarAddict.com.
So we are back, and I want to bring us to this. We saw, while we were at break, a line of cars make the dive into pit lane. Is this for fuel? Is this because we should be able to make it? Should.
I'm wondering if this is the expectation of there potentially being a second green white checker.
Well, I would still think that our leader should be good to make it.
Yeah, I would have expected that as well, but I don't know.
But
I genuinely don't know. All the math I was doing was showing that they should have been able to make it on fuel, especially, you know, if you're out here turning off your engine.
They made it 25 laps previously.
Now, to be fair, that was with an extra caution sandwiched in between.
But
well
we're
done.
under caution again.
Yeah, I'm not sure. But hopefully Hanner here knows. I'm sure he's aware of everything he needs to do fuel strategy-wise. But that's going to push those guys way, way back. Adam Wood, looks like Justin Anderson, who was heading up that pack, is in 11th now. Johnny Downey dropped to 12th. Blake Gordon all the way back to 15th. Adam Wood 14th. So those guys lost a lot of positions.
And their thought process could be, I'm going to be aggressive making my way back up there. And if I bring out a caution in the process, I'm trying. It could just be a little bit of YOLO, if you will. Yeah, I know. I will never say that again.
I appreciate that.
But we are coming up to the stripe, and Joshua Hanner is our leader currently. And he did spend a lot of that stint behind someone, so he could have a bit of extra fuel. To where if
yeah, I think he might be. Honestly, I don't know. I really didn't think anybody was going to hit there except maybe some guys in the back. But, you know, these guys are in the car. They know better than, you know, what's going on. They've got their fuel mileage there right in front of them. So, yeah, I mean, there's also a chance that Hanner was saving fuel, you know, at some other point. I mean, he may have been lifting a little early and then gaining it. Who knows? I mean, this is surprising for me. I would be lying if I said that I'm not. I'd be lying if I said I was entirely impartial right now. It's been a long way to get closed circuit to the Cup Series, and a win here, especially in our first race, would mean a lot. So obviously, I want to see everybody out there run well, but I especially want to see my team.
Well, we also have to think that Blake and those guys did actually run towards the front a lot, so they could just be short on fuel.
Yeah, it's possible, and I mean, you got to think also Blake was pushing a lot. I mean, he was getting right up onto his bumper and just pushing around the track, and that's going to use fuel. So,
especially to break through that bubble, it's not an easy thing for these engines, despite the fact that they are monsters.
One other thing to consider as we're getting started here, I just thought about, Manor was in the pits longer earlier than just about any of them. He may have taken more fuel.
He could have. But as we are about to go green flag, he is just waiting before going. And the longer he waits, if they get to that green flag, everybody else is going to be able to make a jump with him. And it looks like that's what actually happened to Steve Gottschalk. He is side by side with him and has Marshall Hall right behind him. So he may be able to get pushed up into that lead.
He may have been doing that on purpose to a degree to try to, because if he can keep that outside line kind of running there next to him, those guys that were front runners earlier won't be able to get back up to him. That's not to say that someone like Steve Gottschalk can't race with him. Obviously, we know that Steve Gottschalk can get a win here. He's a great racer, defending champion, but Hanner doesn't necessarily know that.
But we also have seen that, especially on restarts, that outside line has had a lot of trouble. And it looks like that's what we're seeing again.
Yep. But, you know, look, Hanner can't get to rest too easy right now because if
we have reached the white flag, so no more cautions. This is the run to the end.
Next flag ends the race. If Dan Shirley here starts like leaving a little bit of gap, you know, or even Timothy St. Jean. Look at Timothy St. Jean up there running up there.
As Hanner is making that car very wide and making sure he's stopping any runs behind him. He does love running these tracks. He is going to make it wide, and he is not going to make that pass be easy, as we are about to come out of turn 4. So he's only got about a mile to keep these guys in check.
Come on, buddy.
As Josh Hanner, coming to the line in his maiden run in the AOLL Cup Series, gets a win. With Dan Shirley coming in second, Timothy St. Jean, who started 24th tonight, crosses the line in third. And that is another one that just makes me happy. I love running with the guy in the TNT and the Sportsman. He's a great racer. I'm excited to talk to him tonight.
Yep. Sorry for letting my emotions get left me there. This team meant a lot to me, and Christopher Oliver and I built it from scratch, from nothing, and we had Josh Laston join us early, and it feels really good to get this. So I'm thrilled to see Hanner get us our first Cup win.
In that beautiful paint job that you gave him.
That I finished this morning.
Because unfortunately, we weren't really thinking that we were going to be represented in the Cup for a while, so he definitely needed to have some kind of representation. I did Larry's yesterday for him, and Larry's is not nearly as pretty, but I still love it, as it's time for Hanner to go ahead and burn those tires to the ground. As we will go ahead and bring up our results real quick before we bring him into the booth, and that is qualify. That is
yeah, so many great runs tonight by so many people. Still showing qualifying results.
All right, so we'll just have to do it this way. All right, in first we have Josh Hanner, second Dan Shirley, third Timothy St. Jean, fourth Mike Burgess, fifth Rick Kohler, sixth Justin Anderson, seventh Mike Burgess, eighth Brandon Bernhardt, ninth Marshall Hall, 10th Steve Gottschalk, 11th Kevin Pearson, 12th Blake Gordon, 13th William Klingbill, 14th Ed Springer, 15th Johnny Downey, 16th Adam Wood, 17th Stephen Dominy, 18th Randy Pepper, 19th Don Warnke, and 20th Kevin Haas.
Hey, how about we go ahead and pull the race winner up?
Let's go ahead and do it.
Josh Hanner. This is Josh Laston and Carl in the booth. You got a copy?
Yes, sir. I got you.
So does this mean that I have to change your name in chat to Fast Josh and I get to be Slow Josh now?
Oh no. I'll just be Top Josh, a closed circuit. How's that?
Alpha Josh. Hey man, great run. I mean, everybody's already heard it on the broadcast, but I probably cheered for you a little too loud as a impartial broadcaster. But man, what a great run! I've got to ask you, man, about pit strategy and the fact that everyone that was running up front with you there pitted on that last caution, and you stayed out. Did you take more fuel during that previous pit stop?
Yeah, I ended up having my guys fill it all the way up. That extra can in there. That's kind of why I lost a few spots coming out of pit road. Worked out for the best. I feel bad for Adam and Johnny there. They deserve that win. But, their crew didn't give them enough fuel, so hate it for them.
We were really curious. What were your thoughts as guys started diving into pit lane at that last caution?
Well, I figured they just were banking on maybe another set of green-white checkered, which if we'd have got that second set of green-white checker, I wouldn't have been good on fuel. So I guess that's what they were thinking.
So one thing we saw over and over during the race, because it was funny, when we started the broadcast, Josh said one of the things we're going to watch out for is the fact that the outside line is going to be so strong with the side draft and everything. But for a good portion of the race, we just saw guys dropping to the bottom and forming up single file. Do you think that people were just being patient, or was there more of a, was the bottom line just that much better?
I think it was a patience thing. Yeah, the outside line is really, really strong. If you can get 4 or 5 cars up there, you're going to go to the front. I think people weren't really wanting to get up there and dice it up early. And then as the race went on, we just kind of stayed single file and nice and calm.
So your first race with the Cup, first win. Are you excited for the rest of the season now?
Oh, I am pumped up. I'm ready to go. I don't know what the next track is, but hopefully we can have a same result there, or at least something
Kansas.
similar. Oh, I do love Kansas. That's going to be a lot of fun.
So what's a track you don't like? I think I've heard you mention before that you weren't crazy about Richmond. But after Kansas, we got Darlington. How do you feel about that?
That is my absolute favorite track on the circuit. I am very much looking forward to that one.
And then after that, leading up to Memorial Day, we got Dover, and then we've got Circuit of the Americas.
We can those road courses. We can just kind of scratch those off.
Well, I'll tell you what. We'll run some closed circuit practices. We'll get our road course ace, Josh Laston, here to help you out.
I'll run as you that week, and you can be up here as me.
You know how in bowling you can put the little safety bumpers on the gutters? We should do that at the road courses for me.
Well, if we could do that, then I would have already done it for myself. But hey, man, great run. We are really excited to see. We've got trying to look here. Probably like 13. Sorry, more than that. Probably about 13 races until the chase starts. So we're going to keep an eye on you, see if you can make it into the top 16. And I know that you love super speedways. I'm looking here to see. We've got, or I should say, restricted plate tracks. We've got iRacing Super Speedway coming up on July 25th, which that's fast, and then also Michigan. Not restricted plate, but drives a lot like one in some ways. So, yeah, really excited to see what you can do, man.
I'm very much looking forward to it, and I'm glad to be here.
Awesome. Hey, thanks, man. Thanks for getting us our first win.
Thank you guys for politicking to get me up here. I really appreciate it.
All right. Later, man.
Later.
All right. Let's go ahead and bring Daniel Shirley up for the second week in a row.
Hey, Hey, Daniel, this is Carl and Josh in the booth. You get a copy?
Hey guys, how's this going? It's good to talk to you again so soon.
I was going to say 2 weeks in a row. I'm excited to be chatting with you this much.
Ian's putting together some consistent finishes, so today being a super speedway was just kind of being in the right place at the right time, especially with this Aero package. But we'll take second place.
So,
Move on to Kansas.
what are your thoughts on the Aero package? We had a lot of chatting about the side drafting throughout the broadcast.
I know. I figured that would be a key topic for you guys to discuss throughout the race. I personally am not a fan of the super speedways to begin with, and then with this, it's just such a static package. It seems like there's less movement, or you have the ability to move up and down less. It was basically get to the low line and try to hang out there and hope somebody else gets shuffled up high, take the spot. I actually had some incident earlier in the race, got clipped by a car, so I spent a lot of time in the back. Really was just able to work up to the podium thanks to some putting a little extra fuel in when I stopped for that final time.
And that's something that we heard from Josh Hanner, and we were kind of curious why we started to see cars dive into the pits. We would have thought everybody would have just taken the full and made it all the way in, but I can also understand wanting to go a little bit light, hoping we can make it to the end green.
Yeah, and that was one of the things was discussing with one of the teammates when we were coming in how much fuel we were going to take, and I initially had what my fuel calculator had to get me to the end of the race, and I decided to go another gallon or two, and that's what just in case there was a green-white checkered or two, and that's what did it. Otherwise, I would have been one of those cars dipping into the pits there before the final restart.
Yeah, so one thing I want to ask you here is, on that final run we had there, the green-white checkered, you were running on second. You were behind Josh Hanner. What were you thinking what was your thinking around what was going to be a strategy for you to win the race? Did you have any ideas of moves you wanted to try to make?
Well, you saw me there on the backstretch, just darting back and forth, just trying to get in his mirror, get in his head, see if I could get him to maybe swing a block in the wrong direction and just give me a toe hold to be able to stick the bumper in on the quarter panel. Didn't happen. Props to Josh for getting the win tonight. It would have been tough. About the only thing that I could have reasonably done was try to sneak up on his right rear quarter panel and do this whole slow down kind of thing that the Aero does. But even then, it probably would have taken a lap or two to really make that advantage stick to be able to have a nose in front across the start finish line. So, yeah, unfortunately, there's not a lot you can do in a lap or two.
Yeah.
No, it was great fun for us. We, at the top of the broadcast, were talking about the big one, which never came, which proved me wrong. And really, when you got sideswiped earlier, I have to commend you on your car control, keeping it straight and just rejoining almost as if nothing happened.
Yeah. It was definitely a frantic moment, not as frantic as maybe Bubba Wallace's earlier today, the actual race. But I was definitely concerned about how that was going to end up. So, best case scenario played out. So I appreciate the props on that.
No, it was a great run.
So next week we've got Iowa.
Kansas.
Kansas. How do you feel about Kansas?
Well, I should be looking forward to it. I guess technically it's my home track. I live about 15 minutes from the Speedway, so I guess if I don't do very well there, then that's kind of a bad look for me. We'll be interested to see, though, with kind of the dynamic track changes they've been modeling in. As I recall, the top line across Kansas is typically the preferred line in the past. So it'll be interesting to see if that does move around any over the course of a race, if we get some good long green flag stretches.
No, I'm looking forward to it. I love intermediates, especially to watch them, not necessarily run them all the time, but do love watching them, and I'm looking forward to hopefully what is another nail biter of a finish like we got tonight.
Yeah, we'll have to see how it plays out. Actually, looking at the schedule now, there is a run of tracks here that I feel pretty comfortable with. I like the smaller tracks and the road courses. So it looks like we have Kansas, Darlington, Dover, and Coda. So hopefully I'll be able to put together or continue this good stretch that I'm on, and knock out a few more podiums and maybe even sneak in a win there.
All right. Well, hey, great run tonight, man. It's good talking to you, and maybe we'll get to talk to you again next week.
All right, appreciate it, guys. Hopefully we talk soon.
All right.
Thank you. Oh, my mouse spazzed out there, and I put him in the wrong room. All right. So let's grab our third place finisher, who I'm really looking forward to talking to, Timothy St. Jean. Hey, Tim, it's Josh and Carl in the booth. You got a copy?
Yes, I do. How are you guys doing?
Hey, good, man. We are very happy to be talking with you right now. It's really cool to see a fellow TNT guy running up there at the front. How'd you feel about your run tonight?
The run was pretty good. A little hectic at times, and I was mostly being careful with too wide because I'm not good at plate racing, and I'm surprised to be up here actually.
Yeah, you started 21 places back from where you finished. So
Exactly.
I would say
Exactly
it was
what
a
I mean.
Herculean run.
I had a good run. Yeah, I've got to admit it. It was fun running up there, and that last caution, and most of the guys going down pit road and got me up in the top 5, I think it was, and I'm there. Okay, it's do or die here.
Well, you did, and I was excited to see it because you're still one of my favorite people to race around, and getting to see you up here on the podium in the Cup, it almost brings a tear to my eye.
It's wonderful being up here. I mean, like I said, I didn't expect to be up here. I was hoping maybe for a top 10. Top 3, I'm really happy with that.
Yeah, so just to let you know, if you want to be like Larry, you can just brag about this. You can just stop racing and brag about the fact that you had a third place forever. Larry probably should have stuck to that strategy since he finished 27th tonight. Yeah, I think this might be your best finish in the Cup Series. I think.
While we're waiting for the standings, it is your first top 5, and it was also a podium. And
Wow.
that should be enough to get you booted up into the chase standings at this point.
That's what I'm working on right now, trying to get back up into the chase.
Well, now here's a question for you. You're a third place running car here, Cup Series. You're beating guys like you beat Blake Gordon, you beat Justin Anderson. Do you even belong in TNT anymore?
No, well, I still got Josh down there in TNT.
Man, I'm really excited to see how well you ran tonight. Just really good run from you tonight, man.
Thank you.
Hopefully we'll get to chat with you more up here on Sunday nights.
I hope so. I hope I'll be a common figure up here.
Well, with runs
All
like
right.
we've been seeing from you, I think it's going to happen. But
Well, thank you, Tim.
All right, thanks, guys. You have yourself a good night.
you too.
All right, so I think that'll wrap us up, right, Josh?
That does wrap us up for the evening. Don't forget all the nights that we have racing on Ghostfire Media. Tuesday nights with the IVRL, Thursday nights with the TNT. I almost forgot Wednesdays with the AOLL Sportsman series with Carl and Larry, just because that's still too new for me to actually remember every time. And then again, next Sunday we will be at Kansas, and if you're feeling swirly, Friday nights we have our podcast where we talk about everything that happened in all of the Ghostfire Media racing.
Do we actually talk about it, or do we just go off on tangents?
We talk about it for a little while and then we go off on tangents.
That's fair.
But we still talk about it. Just probably not as much as we should. And maybe, just maybe, this coming week, we will get the return of Drunk Larry. But that will do it for us tonight on Ghostfire Media. Thank you very much. I'm Josh Laston.
And I'm Carl Henderson.
And we will see you next week.
Later, everyone.